Hey, it's Stokely from Sauce on the Lane. I was at a graduation recently, and someone took a picture of me, and they took it from my right side. So maybe a day or few before that, I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, oh, this is my good side regarding my hairline, right? Regarding my hairline recession, right? And after looking at the picture, I'm like, wait a minute. Oh no, that's not my good side. It doesn't look as good as I thought it did. Pictures, tell a different story. It's like when I went to the beach. I went to Jamaica, and I was like, I thought I was in pretty good shape. And then I saw the picture of myself, and I was like, oh my gosh. Well, anyhow. So it was an awakening. It was a sobering moment, right? So, I was like, wait a minute, okay. So I got home, looked in the mirror after I looked at the picture, and like, yeah, my hair is getting thin in the corners on my right side, on both sides, but the right side is just as bad as the left now. Also, something else that was already known to me was again brought to my attention, the fact that my hairline is slanted. It slants upwards to the right. It also slants upwards to the right. Historically, fortunately, I had a good barber. And what he did was he did not follow my natural hairline, because if he did that, it would really accentuate the fact that it is slanted. So what he would do is just go basically laterally across evenly and avoid and stay away from the slant, and just not cut that part. And my mother, maybe even before I got to that barber, said, listen, don't let the barber cut the corners of your hair, because she had seen it also. So sometimes you're walking around, you think you're looking cute, and you think that everything is all together and everything is symmetrical and everything is, but somebody sees it, and there's only a few people that are going to tell you. You know what I mean? If you got a good barber, hairdresser, estheticians of any kind, they're gonna hopefully, people, they might tell you that, listen, this is not gonna look good on you, this is not gonna look good, do you want me to do this, do you want me to do that, because this looks like this, or a close family member that, you don't mind if they're riffing on you, or if they're telling you the truth or whatever, which my mother's not a person that's just gonna riff on me, she's gonna just tell me the truth because she has my best interests at heart. So she let me know, don't let the barbers cut the corner of your hair. She, so she saw it from a long time, but now it took me a while to become aware of it. So anyhow, moving along, I've already noticed, maybe 5 or more years ago, maybe 8 years ago, that my face is not symmetrical. My ear on my right side is set further back from, let's use my nose as a reference. My ear is set back further on the right side. My right cheek is not as prominent as my left. One of my eyes, let me see if I can figure out which one it is. One of my eyes is set slightly lower than the other eye. Using my nose as a guideline, because my nose is pretty symmetrical. I have a laugh line that's more prominent on my right than my left. So some of these things could be due to age, like the laugh line, but the lower set eye, the further back set ear, those are that's just a genetic defect or whatever, you know what I mean? So what am I saying? So take that into account. I speak about these things because I want to give reference to what I'm going to say later on, which is that I think the corner on my left side, the corners of my hairline on my left side are stronger than the corners of my hairline on the right side. My face is slanted. That's a given. That's been established. My face is slanted. But the corners of my hairline on my right side are thinner. When I say weaker, I mean thinner than those on my left side. So, for the past 14 years, well, for the past maybe 13 years, the first year I started working at my job, I had sunlight coming in from my right. But then the following 13 years, I was in one office where the sun barely came in, but it came in from my left. And now I'm getting a lot more sunlight in the past 5 years consistently on my left side and not on my right side. My right side is not getting any sun. My right side gets artificial light. My left side gets natural light. Right? Okay, let's stick a pin in that. So, when it comes to sun exposure, my right side is getting all the sun exposure. My right side is getting all the sun exposure. And what happened is I was doing, I've been encountering information on this red light therapy, which some people refer to it as UVB. So it's some form of ultraviolet light that's being emitted by these LEDs in these helmets, and they are intended to stimulate hair growth. Now, I was on another Instagram page, and the guru or the vendor or whatever was saying, well, this guy wasn't selling anything. He's saying that you can get your UV light exposure, your red light therapy from the sun. And I'm like, definitely. But what I'm realizing about our lifestyles is that we spend so many hours indoors. I'm in the office. I'm in my car. I'm in my house. So I don't get a good amount of sun exposure. So that is an issue, in my opinion, regarding getting that UVB or whatever UV light is necessary to stimulate my hair growth from the sun. Okay, so it made me think of the mink. It made me think of the Arctic fox. Bill Nye did something on Arctic foxes and minks in reference to melanin, right? So we know that people that live in colder climates, typically have lighter skin to permit more UV light to penetrate into their body so they can get that energy from the sun. People in more sun-drenched equatorial locales have darker skin because they need the melanin to act as a barrier to absorb some of the light, some of the sun's UV light, and prevent it from penetrating too much into the skin. So as a result of that, it's understood by people who are looking into it. It's understood by people who are looking into the topic that people with darker skin in America are more vitamin D deficient than those with lighter skins. Right? Okay. Now, tanning, traditionally tanning, you went inside a tanning bed, but you can also tan by going out into the sun. So your skin has an immediate almost response to additional UV light. It says, okay, let's put out, okay, we're getting a lot of UV now, so let's put out some more pigment to block some of that light, because we got enough light already and we don't want too much light to penetrate the skin, right? But people, started tanning so that they looked like they went to the French Riviera, or they went vacationing, they're traveling. It shows that they're traveling, so it became a status symbol, because it shows you that you've traveled, and you've traveled to nice climates. You know what I mean? You can afford to travel to warm climates even in cold times. You know what I mean? You have that convenience. So similarly, the Arctic fox and the mink, and I don't know what other animals, but probably some other animals, they'll change the color of their fur, plumage, whatever you want to call it, depending on the weather. Depending on, the weather, So in the wintertime, the Arctic fox is white to allow more light to come into its body. Also, to camouflage and blend in with the snow. Did I say Arctic fox? Yes, I think it's the Arctic fox. And the mink is the same. In the summertime, they get a darker color, which helps to blend in with, the environment also. And it also helps to block some of that UV light as well. So they shed, right? They shed that long white fur, which provides insulation, allows UV to come in, and camouflage. They shed that white long fur for a short, dark fur in the summer. But what triggers that? What stimulates that? Is it the time, or is it the temperature? I would propose that it's the temperature. And it is the amount of sunlight that they're getting exposed to. So, connecting myself to the Arctic fox and the mink, I'm kind of making a correlation. I'm making a stretch, right? To make a connection between my weakening hair loss on my right side, and I'm attributing it to the lack of light and heat that it's experiencing on my right side. Because, I'm not going to change it. My hair color is not going to really change. My hair color is not really going to change from white to black. The most it can do is fall out, which is, grow more or not grow as much. So in the case of my hair, what I think is happening is, since I'm not getting sufficient amount of UV light on my right side, my hair follicles are saying, listen, well, you know what? We need to get some more light in here. So guess what? Get rid of that hair so we can get some more light in on the head. Get rid of that hair because we're not getting enough light stimulation on the head. The other side, we're getting light stimulation. Keep the hair over there because we don't want too much light. Keep the hair on the left side because we're getting enough light over there and we don't want to burn our head out. But on the right side, we're not getting enough sunlight. We need to drop some of that hair off to permit more light to come in. Now, the body has its own systems going on, its own stimuli that it's responding to. We like to think of just the part that is visibly animated is of importance, but it's everything. So based on that, based on those phenomena between the UV light hats that they're giving out to people, that they're selling to stimulate hair growth, my lack of sun exposure and the universal lack of vitamin D and sun exposure across, most people in America, especially people of African descent who have darker skin, and the transition that takes place due to temperature and sun exposure in minks and in Arctic foxes, I come to the, hypothesis, because I'm not doing an experiment. I come to the observation and the hypothesis that I need to get sun on both sides of my head. And what I may have to do is move my desk around to where I'm getting a full blast of sun to my face on both sides. So that's really what's going on, and why I'm thinking of this now is that I believe that I'm doing what's necessary to keep my hair. I'm managing stress. This guy's I'm managing stress. I'm trying to keep my kidneys and liver and adrenal and thyroid under control. I got iodized salt. I have my stinging nettle. I'm doing a little bit of jogging, a little bit of running, a little bit, very little, not even half a mile, right? Get my heart rate up. That keeps your blood pressure down. I'm like I said, stress management is very important. So I'm managing my cortisol. I'm not, dosing my body with a whole bunch of cortisol by trying to manage my triggers. And I'm getting a good amount of sleep. I don't feel like sleep deprived. I've significantly cut back on my coffee consumption. I've significantly cut back. For a while, I've significantly cut back on my sugar consumption. And I'm trying to think positive, But during the winter, I was wearing a lot of hats. I just recently decided that I'm trying not to wear do-rags anymore, so I may not be wearing waves anymore. And I think I'm doing a lot of stuff. There's more that could be done, and I'm using a derma roller. I was using a derma roller also, and the derma roller doesn't seem to be, working for me. Now I'm not using any conventional over-the-counter or prescription hair loss treatments like minoxidil, finasteride, so on and so forth. No, I'm not using those things, but I'm trying to do it internally in a natural kind of way, in a plant-based, plant extract kind of way. And I seem to, I don't think I'm making much progress. So now I'm thinking that I need to integrate some more sunlight. If, one thing that more sunlight might do also is hopefully darken the pigment of my hair, or trigger my hair to produce a darker pigment, or hopefully, and this is not scientific, hopefully turn these vellum hair into full-blown hair follicles, because I seem to have these little fine hairs, these vellum hairs You know, this. Look at this. I'm segueing. I'm distracted. The guy who owns the Dunkin' Donuts, so he's like a millionaire, right? He's out there with a pickaxe, breaking up concrete, and he's got the concrete truck out there working it. If you ever see him, he's like a guy who looks like he's about, I mean, based on his big gray beard, they say he's about 60, 70 years old, but he's strong like an ox. Anyhow, moving along. So, I haven't factored in genetics, and genetics play a big part. They say that you inherit hair loss from your mother's side, and my grandfather on my mother's side did have a good amount of hair loss, which I guess I really attributed it to his alcohol use and diabetes, but apparently it's apparently that's not the only factor. Apparently it would have probably happened whether he ate clean or not, because that's what I'm going through right now. So hey, thanks for listening. I think getting some sun exposure, it shows you that sunlight is so important, and I thank you for listening.